Brave Bart, a story for traumatized and grieving children, is a great resource for practitioners to use with kids. This book was actually written by a certified trauma practitioner, Caelan Soma, after she attended our training and learned about the sick cat model. So what this book does is it helps practitioners to normalize symptoms and reactions of trauma, and it introduces them to the process of having that trauma intervention program implemented. So it walks you through what you're going to do with children as you engage them through the sick cat process. It's really, really useful because the child can relate to the characters in the book. The book is generic enough that it talks about something very bad, sad, and scary that happened, but doesn't identify a specific event. It gets at the symptoms and the reactions of trauma, and all the while it begins to really, really highlight how this character, Bart, is truly a survivor despite all the things that have happened. This book, while it's a storybook for children, is highly effective with adolescents and with adults. In fact, I have read it to adolescents and adults, and they relate to the responses that Bart experiences in the story. They begin to relate to the experiences that Bart has had to their own lives. So developmentally, I don't feel like it has any constraints in terms of age. This book has been used following events such as Hurricanes Rita and Katrina, after earthquakes in Haiti. This has been used in settings where things happen immediately and there's a crisis, and then that practitioner is able to read the book where a child begins to relate to the experiences or the symptoms and reactions that they're having. Or it can be something that we read with a child years after they've experienced a situation. This is a very effective tool even for non-clinical professionals. So for educators, for parents, for foster care providers, to really, really help children identify with what they're experiencing. Brave Bart, a story for traumatized and grieving children by Caelan Soma. My name is Bart. I am a very small black kitten who had something very bad, sad, and scary happen, just like the scary and sad things that happen to you. Even though it has been very hard for me, I have learned a lot because of what has happened. Let me tell you my story. After the very bad, sad, and scary thing happened, many things changed in my life, especially my feelings and how I acted. At first, I thought I was the only one who ever had something this bad happen to them. I also thought that my feelings were weird and stupid. My feelings sometimes scared me. I thought nobody could possibly feel the way I did. I had feelings that I didn't want to tell anyone, and I tried hard to keep them to myself. But even though I kept my feelings inside, I started to act differently. Before the very bad, sad, and scary thing happened, I walked with my head and my tail held high. My coat was shiny and every piece of fur was in place. I took very good care of myself. After the very bad, sad, and scary thing happened, my coat was dull and my fur looked messy. I just didn't care about taking baths or taking care of myself. Before it happened, I used to play all the time. I chased my tail, played with balls of yarn, climbed trees, and loved to run and jump from place to place. Before the bad, sad, and scary thing happened, I used to love to take naps. Like all cats, I love to sleep. But after it happened, I had very scary dreams, and sometimes nightmares too. Sometimes I was too afraid to even fall asleep, or too afraid to sleep in my bed, because I was afraid that I might have a very scary dream again. And sometimes I thought it was my fault. I thought I made it happen. I just didn't feel like playing much after it happened. I also did not like to be away from my house. I wanted to stay very close to the people who took care of me. I felt very nervous and frightened, and my stomach ached whenever I had to go anywhere, especially to school. After the very bad, sad, and scary thing happened, there were many times that I felt afraid. Sometimes I would just hide under the bed when I was really scared. I would scrunch up into a little ball and stay there for hours. After it happened, I did not feel like eating. My stomach hurt. Sometimes it felt like I had a lump in my throat. I even turned down my favorite, tuna fish. The sound of the can opener even scared me sometimes. I was very jumpy and nervous. Lots of noises scared me. I wanted things to be the way they were before it happened. I wished that I could change things back with magic powers, but I couldn't. Some days were better than others, but whenever I remembered what happened, I just felt bad all over again. I sometimes saw pictures in my head of what happened, and that would really make me feel sad and scared. Sometimes I heard sounds of what happened in my head, like at night when everything was quiet or when I was trying to think about something else. It made me afraid that something terrible might happen again. When I tried to play with my friends, I became very mad or angry. I cried easily too. I still liked my friends, but I had a very hard time playing the games we had always played before the sad, bad, and scary thing happened. Some of my friends started to call me names, like Baby Bart, because I cried a lot. They also called me Fraidy Cat because I stayed inside most of the time. I thought that I was the only one who had those kinds of feelings. I didn't know what to do to feel better until one afternoon. I was sitting alone on my back porch and I saw a huge shadow appear along the back fence of my yard. It looked like the shadow of a very large animal. I thought it must be something very fierce and powerful to be that big. So I started to run back inside until I heard a small voice say, "Wait, don't leave. I want to talk to you. I won't hurt you. I heard that something very bad, sad, and scary happened to you. I want to help you feel better." "Show me who I'm talking to," I yelled. The voice said slowly, "Turn around. I'm right on the other side of your back porch." I was afraid to look, but when I did, I was very surprised to see that it was not a huge and ferocious animal after all. It was just another cat. The shadow had fooled me because it made the cat look very, very, very big and scary. She told me her name was Helping Hannah. Some of the other cats in the neighborhood had asked her to help me. Helping Hannah said, "I can help you feel better. I can't change what happened to you, but we can work together so you can learn to find some ways to help yourself feel better." This is how I was helped. At first, I was afraid to talk to Helping Hannah. She asked me to tell my story by drawing pictures in the dirt with my paw of the things that had happened. I was afraid my pictures wouldn't be any good, but she told me it didn't matter what they looked like. As I drew, Hannah asked me a lot of questions, but she also listened very carefully to everything I said. Helping Hannah told me that the very bad, sad, and scary thing that happened was not my fault. She said what happened to me is called a trauma. The trauma, she said, caused me to feel powerless, hopeless, and helpless. I felt powerless because I couldn't change what had happened to me. It was like not being able to run and jump like I used to be able to do. I didn't even feel strong anymore. I felt hopeless because I thought that things would never feel the same again. It made me really sad. I felt helpless because I couldn't stop the bad, sad, and scary thing from happening. I couldn't change the feelings that I was having. I had stomach aches and I felt scared most of the time. Helping Hannah told me that she knew other cats who also had very bad, sad, and scary things happen to them. She said they felt like what happened was their fault too, and they also had scary dreams, stomach aches, scary feelings, just like me. I learned that I was not alone. I learned that my feelings were not weird and not stupid, and that there was nothing wrong with me for having those feelings. I found out that my feelings were all okay. I also learned that trauma doesn't go away all at once. You can't wave a magic wand and wish the feelings to go away. It's very important to tell someone your feelings and to not pretend they are not there. It took time, but talking and drawing with Helping Hannah really helped me feel better. My time with Helping Hannah didn't make things go back to the way they were before, but it did help me to tell my story and have someone listen. Helping Hannah and I came up with some things I can do on my own to help me feel better. I can talk to someone I trust, play with balls of yarn, sit on someone's lap, draw a picture, chase my tail. I can climb a tree, go for a walk, or run and jump. One thing that really helped me was when Helping Hannah told me that I was not a fraidy cat or a baby. She said, "Bart, you have gone through something very, very difficult, and you have survived. You are a survivor. You are very brave, Bart." Now when I become really, really frightened, I think of the time Helping Hannah told me that I was brave and called me Brave Bart, and I feel much better. I know that things will never be the same as before the trauma, but I know I can live with what did happen and that I am not alone. I am a survivor, and my name is Brave Bart.